Picture this. You're walking through one of the busiest airports in the United States, and there's no one around. No delays, no strikes. Just silence. We're not in 2020, we're in 2025. And it's real. From Los Angeles Airport to JFK, terminals that once buzzed with millions of footsteps now echo like empty museums. The question nobody wants to ask is becoming unavoidable. Is the United States losing its place as the world's dream destination? In this video, we'll uncover 7 major U.S. airports that are quietly falling into decline and the shocking truth about what this says about America's image, its economy, and the invisible change that's already underway. Number 1. Los Angeles. Los Angeles International Airport was once a global icon, the place where the American dream began for millions of people. LAX wasn't just a stopover, it was a symbol. The palm trees, the ocean breeze, the promise of Hollywood just around the corner. But in 2025, that dream is fading fast. It once welcomed more than 42 million international travelers a year, but LAX has seen a staggering 41% drop in its visitors. This means that over 10 million people have vanished from its terminals, and the impact is undeniable. For the airport staff, the change is personal. A baggage handler who used to push nearly 200 suitcases a day now handles fewer than 30. It's like the city has come to a halt, he said. And it's not just about the volume of flights, but the atmosphere. What was once a hub of energy now feels eerily quiet, like a museum without visitors. But the numbers alone don't explain the change. Outside the terminal, tourists are greeted by a city in crisis. Rows of tents line the sidewalks near luxury hotels. Viral videos warn about thefts and disturbances around the airport. With hotel prices sky high and crime on the rise, visitors feel uneasy. And the news spreads quickly. Last year, both South Korea and China, formerly Los Angeles's main tourism markets, issued official travel advisories, citing concerns about safety and social instability. Major Asian travel companies responded by removing California entirely from their itineraries and choosing destinations like Vancouver and Tokyo instead, where travelers say they feel safer, more welcome, and better taken care of. Not only have tourists stopped coming, but they've started deliberately seeking out other destinations. LAX, once the golden gateway to the West Coast, is now seen as a door without a key that no one wants to cross. And this could be just the beginning of the city's quiet collapse. Number 2. Miami. Miami was once the gateway to the American dream for millions of people from Latin America. From Brazil to Colombia, families flocked to its beaches, shopping malls, and cultural centers, turning Miami International Airport into one of the busiest hubs in the United States. But in 2025, the picture is radically different. If you walk through MIA today, you're more likely to see closed gates, kiosks covered in dust, and flight boards showing cancellations next to routes that once defined hemispheric travel. Flights from key South American cities like Bogota, Sao Paulo, and Lima have dropped by as much as 70%. More than 30 boarding gates have closed permanently, and many regional airlines have completely withdrawn their flights from the U.S. market. A tour guide who used to welcome hundreds of travelers every week commented, "Now I get messages asking about tours in Toronto. They say it's cleaner, safer, and they feel welcome there." What's behind this sudden change? It's not just one thing. It's everything. Immigration policies have become stricter, and visa procedures have gotten longer, more expensive, and more stressful. Meanwhile, airfares have risen by more than 40% on some routes, with additional inspection fees and frustrating delays at customs. While the United States was tightening its restrictions, Canada launched open visa programs for South American travelers, promoting Toronto as the new Miami, but with better access and friendlier borders. Travel agencies in Colombia, Chile, and Peru have picked up on the hint and redirected their clients to Europe and Canada in what many see as a permanent shift in strategy. Miami is not just losing tourists, It's losing trust, and the silence in its terminals says it all. But this isn't just a Latin American story. Even the heart of the United States, the once thriving center known for its unstoppable energy, is starting to slow down. Number 3. Chicago. Chicago O'Hare International Airport was once a symbol of American dynamism, a place where the world connected, converged, and was always on the move. For decades, it prided itself on being one of the top 3 international airports in the United States, a hub connecting North America with Europe, Asia, and beyond. But in 2025, that momentum weakened. Chicago O'Hare International Airport has officially dropped from the top spot, with international passenger traffic down by nearly 38% compared to pre-2019 levels. This isn't just a decline, it's a shift. Flights to major cities like Frankfurt, Paris, and Tokyo have been drastically reduced, rerouted, or quietly removed from airline schedules. Industry experts say this isn't due to disasters or diseases, but rather political issues. Diplomatic tensions, increased tariffs, unpredictable visa regulations, and growing distrust of U.S. trade policies have pushed many European airlines to look for other destinations. Toronto and Montreal, with more consistent entry policies and stable operating costs, have become the new preferred gateways. Even inside the airport, change is inevitable. A maintenance technician with more than 2 decades of experience described it perfectly. Before, we used to run around like ants, constantly checking the systems. Now the halls are silent, no planes, no passengers, just the hum of empty space. It's not just about fewer flights. It's about a fundamental breakdown of trust between the United States and the international community. While O'Hare used to be a symbol of American connectivity, now it reflects the indecision of international partners and their quiet withdrawal. Chicago was never just a city, it was the heartbeat of the country. But even the beat fades when connections start to fall apart. And if Chicago was the heartbeat, Orlando was the imagination, the place where joy awakened and childhood dreams came true. But now, even those dreams are becoming unattainable. Number 4. Orlando. Orlando was once the crown jewel of family vacations, the place where childhood dreams came true. For millions of people around the world, visiting Disney World wasn't just a trip, it was a milestone. Families would save for years just to see their children's faces light up at the sight of Cinderella's castle. But by 2025, that magic is becoming more and more out of reach. In just the first half of the year, Orlando lost nearly 5 million international visitors. Airlines are reporting a drop in demand, while hotels and local car rental companies near Orlando International Airport, MCO, are experiencing closures of up to 30%. This isn't just an economic slowdown, it's a postponed dream. Who's to blame? The cost. A family vacation in Orlando has become a financial disaster. Flight prices from Europe and Canada have risen by an average of 38%, not including visa fees or long processing times. Meanwhile, the cost of admission to theme parks like Disney World and Universal has skyrocketed, with single-day tickets now exceeding the price of multi-day getaways in Europe. If you add expensive food, rising hotel rates, and constant surcharges to the mix, a vacation here feels more like a luxury ordeal than a family getaway. The frustration is real. A father from Manchester shared, "I promised my daughter I'd take her to Disney World before she turned 10, but when I saw the final cost, I had to tell her we'd look for another park closer to home." That sentence, according to him, will haunt him for years. Online, the hashtag Disney disappointment is trending on TikTok. Families are sharing stories of unattainable expectations, long lines, and prices that shattered childhood dreams. Orlando used to be the place where the magic began. Number 5. New York. New York has always been more than just a city, it was a statement of intent. A place where dreams arrived on red-eye flights and ambition landed at JFK. For decades, it was the first image of the United States for millions of people around the world. But in 2025, that image is fading fast. JFK International Airport, which was once the busiest U.S. airport for foreign passengers, has seen a staggering 44% drop in its international traffic compared to 2019. This decline is no coincidence. It comes from some of the United States' most loyal visitors. Tourists from the United Kingdom, Japan, and Germany, countries with long-standing cultural and economic ties to the U.S., are choosing other destinations. And the reasons are hard to ignore. The rise in homelessness near the airport, street crime, and the growing perception of a cold, bureaucratic treatment at the border have created an atmosphere that feels less like a welcome and more like an interrogation. For many international travelers, especially those from the middle class, New York has simply become unaffordable. The skyrocketing hotel prices, expensive meals, and unpredictable city fees have made even a short vacation feel like a financial burden. On global travel forums, the change is obvious. Once considered a must-visit, New York is now unfavorably compared to cities like Lisbon, Tokyo, and Vancouver, places seen as cleaner, safer, and more welcoming. Tourists aren't saying that New York isn't great, just that it's not worth the stress. Even the little things have changed. A violinist who used to play daily at JFK said, "I used to be surrounded by travelers who would stop, listen, and smile. Now I play for almost an hour before anyone even walks by. And when they do, they don't stop." New York hasn't just become quieter. Number 6. Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. was once the heart of global diplomacy, the city where world leaders gathered, ideas were exchanged, and historic agreements were forged. For decades, Dulles International Airport bustled with diplomats, think tank leaders, and foreign officials arriving daily for summits, conferences, and strategic meetings. But by 2025, that pace had slowed to a whisper. International diplomatic traffic at Dulles has plummeted by nearly 60%, and the lounges, once filled with international delegates, are now eerily quiet. The exclusive lounges designed for high-level diplomatic receptions, which used to host up to 90 government delegations a year, are now often completely empty. The conferences that once gave Washington its international relevance are disappearing, not out of drama, but because of quiet decisions to meet elsewhere. The reason is no longer just about politics, but about trust. Organizations like the EU, the G7, and the OECD have started moving key summits and political forums to cities like Toronto, Ottawa, and even Helsinki. The reasoning is simple: more predictable policies, smoother logistics, and fewer diplomatic issues. Complications with visas have been fundamental. What used to be a streamlined process for diplomats and delegates has turned into a bureaucratic maze with long processing times, last-minute denials, and shifting requirements. When diplomacy gets complicated, diplomats go where the door is open, and right now, that place isn't Washington. A hotel manager near Dulles summed it up perfectly. "Before, I used to practice greetings in 5 languages just to keep up with the guests. Now I'm lucky if I get an international traveler each night." Washington hasn't lost its prestige overnight, but little by little it's losing its role as the world's meeting room. Number 7. Dallas-Fort Worth. Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport was built to be unstoppable. As the second largest airport in the United States by land area, it was more than just a transportation hub, it was a logistics powerhouse. A place where freight transport never slept, where planes landed 24 hours a day, and where the hum of machinery echoed nonstop. But in 2025, that energy ran out. Freight traffic at DFW has dropped by more than 55%, and the silence is deafening. The once bustling cargo terminals now look like storage yards frozen in time. Rows of containers remain untouched under the Texas sun, and huge runways stretch out with no planes in sight. The movement that once defined this space has come to a complete halt. Big companies are pulling out. DHL, FedEx, and even Amazon have started moving their main operations to Canada and Mexico. Why? Rising operating costs, customs complexity, tariff uncertainty, and regulatory delays are pushing companies to look for more stable ground elsewhere. In Mexico, labor and maintenance costs are up to 40% lower. In Canada, infrastructure packages and clean energy incentives are driving the logistics sector northward. A veteran truck driver put it bluntly: he used to make 3 trips a day, from DHL to Amazon, from the warehouse to the plane, non-stop. Now I spend more time at home than on the road. Not because I want to, but because there's nothing left for me to haul. DFW isn't broken. It still has the machinery, the space, and the scale, but it's missing the most important things: movement, confidence, and demand. Without them, it's just a shadow of what it used to be. What happens when America's vital logistical flow slows to a crawl? Because from passengers to packages, from diplomacy to dreams, when the world stops coming, the silence speaks louder than words. These airports aren't just empty, they echo a deeper change. If you've ever made a memory in one of these places, we'd love to read your story in the comments. It might remind someone why they once loved coming here. Don't forget to check out our previous video for more eye-opening information. And if you think this one was worth it, support us by subscribing. It's just one click, but it means the world to us.